This island that we call home is a place filled with vast beauty if we could take a moment to realize. Our island's beauty has many faces. From open sandy shores to rocky coastal cliff lines, the deep valleys, to the freshwater caves of the limestone forests, to cascading waterfalls. Our island's beauty is endless, and that's why when we walk in this land, we walk with respect. We walk with a deep love and appreciation because we are blessed to live in such a beautiful place. Join us on this journey. Mañe'lu, Halom.
Hafaday told us, welcome to episode 2 of our Halom Hikes series. Today's destination is Isengsung Pagat. Pagat is yet another Lati site of Guam, located in the village of Mañe'lu, which can be an invaluable learning tool for those of you who have the desire to understand the language of the land and the lives of our ancestors who once called this place home. At one point, it was the location proposed by the military to build a new marine firing range, but because of sufficient backlash from the community, the range was relocated. The word Pagat means to counsel or advise. So as we make our way on this journey, let us think about how and what this place can teach us about our past and ways we can incorporate them into our lives today and onward.
You can get to Pagat by taking back road to Anderson from the intersection of the Mañe'lu Church, then head towards Anderson Air Force Base until you see the trailhead on your right. The trailhead can be easy to miss, but look for the sign that reads Isengsung Pagat with some boulders under it. If you come across Guam Adventures or Drigo Racetrack, it's time to bust the U and start looking left, Chelu. This hike is known for being fairly demanding physically and potentially dangerous if you aren't prepared. For those of you who aren't as sure-footed, we recommend using shoes you don't mind getting torn up or borrowing one of your cousin's old cleats or something. Bring or wear swimming clothes also, as there are a couple of areas here that people can swim in if conditions are favorable. Hanum is another necessity for this hike, a lot of it, as this place will have you getting real masa halum and Mañe'lu today. One last piece of equipment you might want to bring is a headlamp or some sort of waterproof light source for the cave.
Here at the trailhead, our mentors wanted to release an Azuzu who wasn't quite masa enough to be acquainted with the dinner plate. But because of all the trash we encountered here, it was a little bit difficult for us to find a nice spot to release it back into the wild unknown. This was a visceral reminder that no matter the scale, we affect our island and those who share it with us much more than we're aware of. Located in the same area are a couple of plants that some of you may be surprised to find out are edible. The Guam daisy, or Spanish needle, whose leaves and flowers are both edible, has probably seen the business end of almost everyone's bush cutter and has had its needle-like seeds caught in your socks or pants at some point in your life. The flowers of the hibiscus tree are another of these edibles located here. They're not just used to treat boils, folks. The petals of this tree can be enjoyed as a pre-journey snack as well. Now let's get in there.
Lada, or noni, is an important tree in all of Oceania because of its medicinal properties. Many Chamorros also believe that taking its leaf with you when you enter Halom Tanut protects you from being followed by bad spirits. Just like asking permission before you go met me, it's better to be safe than sorry. One of our mentors was brave enough to get a taste of the fruit of the lada, which is known to taste super bitter. Eventually, you'll get to the descending path to the caves. This is where the gloves come on for those of you who need them. Dirt gives way to sharp limestone and exposed roots, so be sure to take each step cautiously. The path down is tagged with various hike markers to help guide you down, so look up every now and then to orient yourself. You'd be surprised how easy it is to get lost in here, even with the markers. Though the ground here may be a little crazy, the various trees and plant life that thrive in this limestone forest provide a great canopy to shade you on this journey. Place home include pai, which is endemic to Guam, meaning it's only found here, and ifit, an extremely valuable but slow-growing resource, and the official tree of Guahan. An environmental biologist could do entire lessons on just the trees that grow here and their significance to us and each other. There are some ropes tied to some of the trees, which will help you in both going down and coming up. Be careful of rope burn though, looking at you non-glove wearers. After descending for a while, you'll finally get to Pagat Cave, which is now clearly identifiable with signs. This is one of the features of Pagat that attracts visitors. Break out your flashlights and or headlamps. The entrance to the cave is super palaxy, so be careful and help each other down to the water. You may notice that the water here is actually fresh. How does it get down here, I hear you asking? Limestone is very susceptible to erosion, so when water creeps through the cracks of it, it sometimes leaves cavities in the stone itself. These cavities end up collecting the water droplets that find their way to the ceiling of the cave and create stalactites, which look like stone teeth or fingers reaching down. Spooky. With enough water, the cave becomes a karst aquifer. These were very important to our ancestors who relied on them as fresh water sources. It is crucial that we continue to take care of these places as well, because the waters that end up here are ultimately destined to return to the ocean eventually, or in some cases, our own homes. The main body of the cave provides a beautiful ambiance and a refreshing place to swim after all that hiking. In here, you may see some small tea light candles, but refrain from using them. Although very romantic, the candles themselves can cause damage. The wax that drips off them is very difficult to remove on the rocks and can grow mold on them. There's also some people who feel inclined to make their marks on this place. Not cool, guys. Not cool. These places should at the very least be treated with the same respect as any other public venue with the amount of visitors it receives. Once you're done refreshing yourselves, it's time to make our way toward the ancient Lati village. Be careful as you ascend the rocks to the top. Once the way becomes level again, trail markers will lead your way. The first sign that you are approaching the village will be the large lusung, which are scattered across the way. These were our ancestors' community mortar and pestles, and are an indication of permanent settlement in this area. Another easily identifiable sign is the presence of pottery shards, which are the most common artifact found on Guam. Most will be flat and red and come in a variety of sizes, unless you find the rim, which will be more rounded. Other artifacts, such as adze blades and sling stones, may also be found here, but not as often. Makes sense considering all the water they probably had to bring back to their houses from that cave. The lati that lay within are nothing to scoff at. For a place as rough to live in as here, it's no small wonder as to why such a large structure was built, or why people lived here. One lati set contained as many as 14 pillars, which measured roughly 6 feet tall when combining the heights of the tasa on the haligi. This was no studio apartment. It could be that the herbs and medicines found in this area were abundant enough and the location secluded enough to justify walking on limestone all day. These guys are probably the first Chamorros to use Zori. As you make your way through the village, you'll be led out toward the cliffside by more markers. It's here that Itasi makes its presence known. There's no reef or lagoon that separates the cliff from the ocean here, so the full force of the tides can be felt. when the conditions are perfect and the water's calm enough, there are some brave souls who jump from the cliff into the waters below. For safety's sake, we don't recommend doing this, but if you must, bring a flotation device or a life jacket or something. Safety first, guys. All that's left now is to make our way back up to the roadside from the cave entrance. If you thought coming down here was hard, get ready to test your willpower on the way back. Hopefully you save some water. If you already ate all your snacks, don't forget to keep an eye out for those plants we found at the beginning. Just take it one step at a time and don't look down. As you make your way back up, take this time to truly reflect on the counsel and advisement about our land and our history that Pagat can teach us.
Our island is our inheritance. It holds pieces of our past and symbols of our strength. It holds the causes of our joy. It's a place where we come together. It is a place of healing. Our island is our refuge. Our island is a place of peace and tranquility. If we would just take a moment to find it. Si Diyos maasi, todos hamdu. Sana maasi, dan si Diyos van benindisi.
No need to react, this moment soon will pass. Stay humble and be dignified, everything is good inside. Like it not diminish, when we stay committed to knowing what we've omitted illuminates the vision. Precision of thought is awareness of the self, not selfish, discerning what truly cannot be helped. A rock that wants to melt does not stay above the surface, but communicates to relatives and asks them for the service. Searching for the fire, or beings that perspire. Transcendence is creator's plan that works beyond desire. A higher purpose, or ought to will within me. Material will fade away and birth a new beginning. I'm a spinning gaseous rock in planetary orbit. Carry continents of purpose like a turtle island tourist. Transforming nations' consciousness to process that before its own existence. Beings lived in peace and balance with the forest. Open doors to the portals of my soul. Hoping